Hello, everyone. My name is Brendea Grigsby, and I did my needs assessment on sex trafficking in Phoenix, Arizona. The purpose of the assessment was to identify and evaluate services that are available to youth in Arizona that are or have been sex trafficked. The assessment looks at services and programs that serve boys and girls at the ages of 13 to 17. Data collection, barriers, and recommendations are also included in this assessment. As far as data collection, I did 3 interviews in total. 2 of them were over the phone and 1 was in person. With the Department of Child Safety, I did this interview in person with a lady that has been working with the department for 2 years now. She has her BSW. The second is Jewish Child Family Services, and I did this interview over the phone. And this lady is a high needs case manager that also has her BSW. And lastly, I interviewed a lady from Streetlight USA, and she's a therapeutic service coordinator that actually has her degree in business communication with nonprofits. Now we're going to go ahead and get into results. First, we're going to start with the Department of Child Safety. Requirements for programs and age limits. So anyone that's a ward of the state under the age of 17 or 17 and under will qualify for these services. But if they are going to be doing the young adult program known as YAP, that goes up to the age of 21. These children are covered by insurance with the state, and there's also development of case plans that are also established for each kid and monthly visits. Challenges experienced by this population consist of behavioral and mental health needs, mistrust of people, having their guard up, and school. School is a big one because these children are moving pretty often and they're not able to keep their grades up due to the move or make friends. Interventions being used to measure engagement in services consist of monthly visits, attending CFTs, and documentation. The average length of engagement in these programs and successfulness. There is no average length, and a case plan is established for reunification most of the time, and that can take anywhere from 6 months to like a few years for either reunification or for severance. There are some children that age out of the Department of Child Safety and complete the young adult program. Some are successful, some are not, but there's no distinct way to know exactly when they age out, how they're doing after that point. Strengths include wittiness, being smart, funny, and caring. They do have mentors that are community members, and all staff are trauma informed. Many children that come into DCS care have been sex trafficked or at risk for being sex trafficked. And case managers work closely with other agencies and have children involved in the YAP program to make them most successful as they can. There are barriers with knowing how many end up being successful or end up in the streets later in life. Next, we have Jewish Child Family Services. For this service, you must be 17 years or younger, and clients have to have a score of 4 or higher on the CAS2. Services provided include care coordination, weekly home visits, monthly child family team meetings known as CFTs, and they also try and engage them in additional services, and we send referrals out if it's need be. Challenges consist of clients not talking and DCS creating barriers between the child, family, the services, all engaging at once. And interventions being used to measure engagement consist of monthly CFTs, renewal service plans, and home visits. The average length of engagement in these programs consists of about 6 months, and usually half of them will close out successfully. Strengths include being kind, funny, and the children will also keep you on your toes. There are community members part of this program, and all staff are trauma informed as well. And as far as services and them being successful, services assist clients who have been sex trafficked and identify and utilize services such as transition to adulthood and or a survivor mentor. There can be some barriers with clients not wanting to participate or services being at capacity and children not being able to get the services that they need. Lastly, we have Streetlight USA, and requirements consist of the ages of 13 to 17, and they actually only include girls and not boys for this one. Requirements consist of being sex trafficked, have been sex trafficked, are currently being sex trafficked, are at risk for being sex trafficked. Types of services provided consist of Lighted Pass, which is contracted with DCS, and they provide 24/7 residential treatment for children that have been sexually exploited. The program provides an emotionally and physically safe therapeutic living environment. Next, they have the Sanctuary, that's a level 2 residential trauma healing facility. And trauma healing services include the treatment of co-occurring disorders and behaviors, including acute trauma symptoms, substance abuse, disruptive behavior, interpersonal attachment related challenges, anxiety, depression, and mood disorders. Lastly, they have pastoral care, which they can get prayer done, they can have Bible studies as well, and it includes a treatment for both the family and the individual kiddo. And these services can last from 6 to 7 months. Challenges experienced consist of not knowing how to cope, having low self-esteem, and they also have a trigger when it comes to control. So you want to give these girls options and not just tell them what to do. And they also have difficulty sleeping. Interventions being used to measure engagement consists of the DOC-CF form, which stands for Commercial Sexual Exploitation Identification. And this is done 90 days before, during, and after. The average length of engagement and successfulness of this program all depends. The lady stated to me that 6 to 7 months is not something that, can change anyone's lives around. They need an average to a year to a few years to get the well services that they do need. And strengths consist of resilience, wittiness, willing to advocate for themselves and others, and challenging the program. And the service also provides or incorporates community members, and they're also trauma informed. And the three common barriers that I noticed is unable to keep track of youth success, children not wanting to engage in services, and cutoff time 6 to 7 months for services. Recommendations consist of continuance of supporting youth after they are returned to their legal guardian and age out of the system, and developing a system that keeps track of youth that relapse or go back to the same situations as they were in before, and staff being trauma informed and educated on sex trafficking. Findings have not been shared, but they will be via email with a PowerPoint. And as a reflection, this process was very informative, interesting, and heartbreaking. And I was able to get a hold of various organizations. Sometimes I wasn't able to get a hold of the ones that I wanted to. And I gained importance of what it takes to run a nonprofit and how the community can get involved. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Have a good one.